Hey guys, Ben Dorr here, Executive Director with Minnesota Gun Rights. I just wanted to hop on here tonight, guys, and give you a quick update on the fight for the Second Amendment in St. Paul. There's a lot going on. Major. I say major fight a lot. I think frankly, it's an understatement. What we are in is the fight of our political lives. And I've got details for you. I've got information that you guys need to know. I want you to hop in here. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know where you're checking in from. But we're gonna jump right into this. Boy, where to start? The left has introduced a whole bunch of gun control bills. As you know, Democrats control the House and they control the Senate. And of course, Tim Walz is our governor. And we are doing everything we can possibly do to put pressure on the legislature to stop this gun control. Guys, let me know where you're watching from. I can see there's a whole bunch of you guys on here right now. We got Scott checking in from Badger, Minnesota. I should do more Facebook Live videos. We put out a lot of content. We put out a lot of information, but I wanted to come on here tonight live and answer questions for you and give you details. And you can ask follow-up questions. I want you guys to know exactly what's happening and exactly what gun owners can do to stop this, because we can. I absolutely believe that even with Democrats controlling Minnesota right now, I believe that we have an absolute shot at shutting down this gun control. So I want to give a big shout out to Scott and Badger, my good friend Eric, checking in from the Boundary Waters, living the life I want to live. We have Josh in Mankato. We have Lee is in Louisiana sending support. Thank you, Lee. We have Nicholas checking in from Walker. Oh, now he's in East Tennessee, it sounds like. Everybody's out of state except me. We have Todd, of course, the great Todd Thorson in Mounds View. So, guys, I want to start off by just giving you the roadmap to victory, okay? We keep getting these questions. People keep asking, what are we supposed to do? How do we actually stop this? A lot of you have made phone calls. A lot of you have sent petitions. A lot of you have been at the Capitol with us. A lot of you have done a lot of different things. Many of you are contributors, donors to the fight with Minnesota Gun Rights. And I want to lay out exactly what the plan is, because some red flag gun confiscations and statewide gun registration have both passed one House committee. They're going to pass more very soon. And we could sit here at Minnesota Gun Rights, we could sit here and try to lob bombs, politically speaking, at all of these committees in the Minnesota House. And we could say, guys, call these people or send this email over here and over there. We could do that. But the reality is, Democrats have a 6-vote majority in the Minnesota House, and maybe 2 or 3 of those Democrats in the House are, what do you want to call them? Iron Range Democrats, outstate Democrats. They live in swing districts. So the DFL has the ability to have at least a couple or a few of their Democrats in the House vote no, and they'll still have enough votes likely to pass their gun control bills through the House. Okay? So I want you to know that right away. Don't get depressed. Don't get down and out when these bills are passing committees, or even if they pass the House. The fight, our one shot, our shot to stop all of this gun control comes down to the Minnesota Senate, where the Democrats have a 1-seat majority. Okay? And there's at least 2 or 3 Democrats who live in very pro-gun districts who would be absolute damn fools to vote for these gun control bills. That doesn't mean they won't. That doesn't mean that they're not over there in St. Paul, which they are, doing deals with DFL leadership in the Senate, saying, well, I might vote for this gun control bill if you give me something else for my district. They may do that. But there are also people like Democrat Senator Grant Housechild, who lives in an overtly pro-gun district. Grant Hauschild lives north of Duluth. It's Senate District 3. It's right up there in the Iron Range, borders Canada. That's where he lives. His district has been historically Democrat, but both of the House seats went to Republicans in the 2022 elections. So they have a Democrat senator in Senate District 3, but they have a Republican representative in District 3A and 3B. Hauschild won his seat by 700 votes. And that district is loaded with pro-gun Democrat union members. If Grant Hauschild votes for this legislation, Minnesota Gun Rights, I swear we'll do it. We will rent a freaking house in his district 4 years from now, and we will live in Senate District 3, and we will ruin his political life. We will do everything we can possibly do to make sure every single one of those Democrat union members, along with the Republican voters, so as long as they know that Grant Hauschild was the deciding vote on red flag gun confiscations and statewide gun registration. It's going to happen. So back up. We're not 4 years ahead yet. We're right here, right now. Minnesota Gun Rights, we don't have unlimited funds. We don't have unlimited resources. Neither do you. But what we do have is the firepower necessary to put pressure on these Democrat senators right now. So there's a bunch of jokers out there who will try to tell you that our job is to testify in every committee and try to convince Democrat-controlled committees to vote no on their own gun control bills. It'll never happen. Not in a million years. That's why when Minnesota Gun Rights testifies in committee, we simply tell them, instead of debating, well, here's why red flag laws are bad. Oh, here's why universal background checks are bad. We don't do that because those Democrats, they don't care. They don't care. All they care about is getting reelected. The only Democrats that matter are these 4 senators in the DFL Senate. Grant Hauschild from Senate District 3, Rob Kupek in Senate District 4, Eric Putnam in Senate District 14, and Judy Seeberger in Senate District 41. They're the only ones that matter. They're the only ones who can stop this. The Republicans don't have enough votes in the House or the Senate. Frankly, they've been a bit weak on this. And so our only play, the only play that gun owners in this state have is making sure that people like Grant Hauschild and Judy Seeberger and Putnam and Kupek know that we will target them with every single thing we have. And perhaps gun owners will decide to make them one-termers. And maybe the DFL loses their majority in 4 years. Or maybe they lose their House majority in 2 years. What's it worth to you, Grant? What's it worth to you? So this is the plan. Right now, as we speak, well, strike that. 5 hours ago, Minnesota Gun Rights rolled out 10,000 text messages to gun owners in those districts that I just listed off. Starting tomorrow morning, radio ads are going live in districts all across the state, putting pressure on those politicians. If you're not getting our emails, get on our email list. I'm going to play those radio ads for you. You're going to get to see them, hear them, listen to them. Minnesota Gun Rights, we're going to roll out roughly $100,000 worth of ads and program in the next, well, however long it takes to shut down this gun control push. This is the fight, okay? So remember those names: Grant Hauschild, Judy Seeberger, Eric Putnam, Rob Kupek. Remember those names. If you can't, get on our email list. We'll send them out to you with contact information so you can contact them yourselves. But this is the plan. The NRA is not coming to save us. GOA is not coming to save us. FPC ain't coming to save us. NAGR ain't coming to save us. SAF isn't coming to save us. And groups like the Gun Owners Caucus that are here are selling you out so freaking fast it'll make your head spin. They're penniless and they're powerless. The way we win this fight is by spending big money, targeting these politicians in their districts so that the phone calls they're getting and the emails they're getting from gun owners in their districts are telling them to vote no. And then those DFL politicians in the Minnesota Senate, they've got to decide if they're going to tell all these gun owners in their districts to pound sand or not. That's the play. That's the play. And for all the other Democrats who watch this and are going to see this, anybody who votes for this gun control goes on our list. Make no mistake about it. So if you live in a swing district, whether you live in the House or the Senate, Republican or Democrat, anybody who votes for this stuff is going to go on Minnesota Gun Rights permanent list at any time. 2 years from now, 4 years, 6, 8 years from now, we'll target you in your district too, and we'll expose you for what you've done. This is our promise. This is what we do. This is what allows Minnesota Gun Rights to have the edge, regardless of which party holds power. So the Gun Owners Caucus, who are currently out there doing a deal on government-mandated storage laws, how do you like that? They're working with Democrat Brad Tabke to pass a bill making it so that all of your guns have to be locked up in a safe at all times, away from your ammunition. Your ammo has to be stored someplace else. And if you don't comply, if you leave that pistol in your bedside table like I do, charges range somewhere from gross misdemeanors to felonies. Okay? But the Go-Cockers, Gun Owners Caucus, they don't raise any money. They don't have any membership. They don't have supporters. So the only play they have is to kiss the backsides of the politicians who are in power. So when Republicans lose control, like they did, like they have done, the only play that organization has is to go into committee and sit there and try to change the minds of Democrat state representatives who live in the metro city. It'll never work. Raise your hand if you think you can give a logical explanation as to why red flags and universal background checks don't work to a Democrat, and they'll listen to you and change their mind. Who thinks that's possible? Raise your hand. If you just raise your hand, slap yourself with it now, because you're wrong. You're wrong. So the play is not to sit here and try to placate the DFL. The play is not to sit here and try to, I don't know, the Republicans can't stop it. They don't have the votes. The play is to spend big freaking money in all the districts that matter. I'm talking radio ads, online videos, explanatory videos, graphics, text campaigns, direct mail campaigns, and on and on. Costs a lot of money. Minnesota Gun Rights is spending a lot of money right now. Thanks to you. If you're a member of Minnesota Gun Rights, thank you. You're helping fund the defense of the Second Amendment. So all those other organizations, all those other federal organizations, they're more than willing to ask you for money to keep their boat floating out in Virginia. But when the fight is here and now, Yeah. No, this fight was always going to be fought and won or lost by the members of Minnesota Gun Rights. So we're happy to be here doing this for you, with you. But that was the most important thing. I need you to know that. Whatever happens, the media is all, gun safety legislation just clears committee hurdle in the House. And then you go, oh gosh. And then, tomorrow it'll be, gun safety legislation just cleared the Judiciary Committee. And you're going, oh my gosh, can we even win? And then it'll be, gun safety legislation just passed in the House. Ignore that noise. Focus. Focus on the Senate. Focus on those 4 senators: Grant Hauschild, Rob Kupek, Eric Putnam, Judy Seeberger. Those are the people we target right now. And if they vote for this legislation, they're the ones we target for exposure 4 years from now with everything we have. And we're damn good at it. So keep your lip up, keep your nose up, keep your head up. We can win this fight. The fight is in the Senate. Minnesota Gun Rights is focusing all of our firepower where it matters. So you're not going to see us running around the Capitol building, kissing politicians' butts. You're not going to see us trying to convince Democrats of the worthiness of our cause in committee and hope that they change their mind. You're not going to see those things. What you will see, or maybe you won't, if you don't live in those districts, you might not see some of it unless you're getting our emails. What we are going to do is roll out the radio ads, roll out the text messages, roll out the pressure campaigns, and hammer the daylights out of that Senate. That's what we're doing. Brandon says, how will they know if my weapon is on my nightstand? Well, that's a solid question, Brandon. I can only assume that if somebody breaks into your house and you actually use your firearm like a smart person to defend yourself or your family, you end up shooting the intruder. I can only assume that when the police show up and find out that your gun was not in your safe and that you did, in fact, pull it from your nightstand, then you get charged for defending yourself. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Lisa says, thank you for all you're doing. Hello, Tim. We got Tim in the comment section. Dave says, how do I get all the text messages? Sign up to get our emails, Dave. That's the best way to get the information that we put out. The texts specifically went into specific districts, telling them to get a hold of their senator. Okay, so if you don't live in like Moorhead or Hastings or St. Cloud, or like the Duluth area, you might not have gotten on there. If you want to get on our email list, go to minnesotagunrights.org and you can sign up right there on the page, sign a petition. There should be a sign up on the bottom of the website, actually. So minnesotagunrights.org, and you can sign up. Dave says he lives in Dave, if you live in Hastings, you need to make it your mission in life to call Judy Seeberger, your senator, every damn day. Every day. Call her, email her, tell your friends, call her, email her. She's a radical Democrat, but she won her district by 300 votes. The slimmest margin of any Democrat in the Senate, 300 votes. So, Dave, if you've got friends who live there, you need to rally them. It rests, honestly, at the end of the day, for example, if I called up to the Capitol and told somebody, like if I called Judy Seeberger and said, hey, my name's Ben, I want you to vote against this gun control legislation, her immediate question would be, oh, hi, Ben, where do you live? Where do you live? Because the only thing Judy Seeberger cares about is people who live in her district. Because if you live in her district, you can vote for her, or you can vote against her, or you can not vote. Those are the options, right? And so those are the only things she cares about, which is why Minnesota Gun Rights is targeting people in those districts so that they get a hold of their legislators. So, Dave, your friends, your neighbors, it could literally come down to you and your people making somebody like Judy not vote on this legislation. Here's what I can tell you. If they pass universal background checks, if they pass red flag gun confiscation laws, they will pay a very, very heavy price. Minnesota Gun Rights will make sure of it. This is what we do. We celebrate 10 years this year, in case you didn't know. 10 years Minnesota Gun Rights has been fighting in this state. We have grown very, very large. Now, we're not the favored gun rights organization. If you call up to the Capitol and say, who's the best, who's fighting the hardest, they will not mention Minnesota Gun Rights because they don't like us there, because we put pressure on politicians and we don't forgive legislators who stab us in the back. Regardless, we have tens of thousands of members and hundreds of thousands of supporters who we talk to on a daily basis. We have a tremendous team here at Minnesota Gun Rights that does the text messages, that does the radio ads, that does all the other videos, that does our direct mail, that does our email deployments, that does all of our ads, list growth, all the things. We have an amazing team here that does great work. We're growing all the time, and we're going to kick their asses. Pardon my French. Although I don't know, do the French swear a lot? I'm not sure. Guys, that's about what I have for right now. Ask if you have more questions, go ahead and ask them. But this is the fight. Ignore the noise and all the other BS that's going to happen in the House and these hearings. That's not the most important thing. The most important thing is targeting the Senate with the resources that we have, with the time, with our friends, our neighbors. If you could call all of your friends and say, make one phone call for me to defend the Second Amendment, and you made them call these House committees that are hearing these gun control bills, it'd be a wasted phone call. So our resources, our time, our attention, the attention of our members, supporters, gun owners, hunters across the state is limited. We know it's limited. And so we have to point it where it'll do the most damage. And that is the Minnesota Senate, particularly the weak members, because the DFL has one vote majority. And I can tell you, Grant Housechild, that there's nothing your party can give you. There's nothing your party can give you, Grant, that will make up for your vote for red flag gun confiscations, universal background checks, or forced government storage laws. There's nothing they can give you that'll make up for that, because there is not an organization in Minnesota at the state level that does more, fights harder, runs more ads, and does more advocacy for our issue than Minnesota Gun Rights. There isn't. There isn't. So good luck. If you're trying to do a deal, Grant, good luck. Guys, that's what I have for right now. Again, hold your heads high, stand, fight. If you can donate, there's links in the description of this video. Make a contribution to our cause. Like I said, we're going to spend many, many tens of thousands of dollars. It's being spent right now. The ads are live. More ads are going live. The radio ads are rolling out. Starting tomorrow morning, we're going to spend a fortune. We're going to spend a lot of money. But this is what it takes. This is what it takes to win. So if you can contribute, make a contribution. If you can send a pre-written email, it's also in the description of this video. Send your email. Rock it out. But maybe one of the most important things you can do, and I'll end with this, is to tell your friends, Tell your neighbors, your family, your parents, your nieces, your nephews, your hunting buddies, your gym buddies, your grandchildren. Tell them there's a fight on. Get involved. Contact your representatives. There's pre-written emails. The link in the description of this video can be used by anybody who lives in the state of Minnesota. If you have a Minnesota address, you can send an email to your state representative and to your state senator telling them to oppose the gun control bills. You don't have to know who they are. You don't have to know their name. You don't have to know their email address, their contact info, none of it. Our system will do all of that for you. So talk to your friends, your neighbors, your relatives, everybody you know about this. Get them involved, get them fighting. I'm happy as hell that Dave is in the comment section here and that he happens to live in Hastings. If Dave could get 25, if you could get 25 people or 50 people to call Judy Seeberger's office, I'll give you her phone number right now. Yes, I will. Give me 2 seconds. Her phone number is 651-297-8060. I'll say it again, 651-297-8060. If you could get 25 people to call that office and tell her legislative assistant that you live in Hastings, you live in her district, and you want her to vote no on this legislation, you could, Dave, single-handedly shut this whole thing down. And that's what it takes. It takes a lot of time. So that's all the time I have for tonight, guys. I'll be back later with more updates. Get on our email list for all of the information we're putting out. You'll get to see all of the radio ads. You'll get to see all the other ads that are rolling out. You'll get to see the results of our texting campaigns. And you'll get all, pre-written emails will be sent to you, petitions, all the things right into your email inbox. And then you can take action, help us shut this down, and see what we're doing and participate. That's the deal. So that's what I have for right now, guys.